Modern education in Iran. The first Western-style public schools were established by the Haji Mirza Hassan Rashidi Amir Kabir. He helped the first modern Iranian college established in the mid-19th century and the first Iranian university modeled after European universities established during the first Pahlavi period. There are both free public schools and private schools in Iran at all levels, from the elementary school through university. Education in Iran is highly centralized. The Ministry of Education is in charge of the educational planning, financing, administration, curriculum, and textbook development. Teachers training, grading, and examination are also the responsibilities of the minister at the university level. However, every student attending public school is required to commit to serve the government for a number of years, typically equivalent to those spent at the university, or pay if of for a very low price, or a completely free if one can prove inability to pay to the Islamic governments. During the early 1970s, efforts were made to improve the education system by updating schools' curriculations, introducing modern textbook, and training more efficient teachers. The 1979 revolution continued to the country, emphasized on education, with the new government putting its own stamp on the process. The most important changes was the Islamization of the education system. All students were segregated by sex. In 1980s, this cultural revolution committee was formed to oversee the institution of Islamic values in education. An arm of the committee, the Center for the Textbook, produced 3,000 new colleges level textbooks reflecting Islam views. By the 1983, teaching materials based on Islam were introduced into the primary grades within 6 months of the revolution. Budget. Each year, to 20% of the government spending and 5% of GDP goes to education, a higher rate than most of other developing countries. 50% of the education spending is devoted to secondary education, and 21% of annual state education budget is devoted to the provision of tertiary education. Education reform. The fourth five-year diploma development plans has envisaged upgrading the quality of the education system at the all levels, as well as the reforms education curricula and developing the appropriate program of the vocational training and the continuation of the trend toward the labor market orientation. Education and training. With the new education reform plan in 2012, the pre-university years will be replaced with an additional year in elementary school. Students will have the same teachers for the first 3 years of primary schools. Emphasis will be made on research, knowledge productions, and questioning instead of math and memorizing all along. In the new system of teaching will no longer be the only instructor but a facilitator and a guide. Other more general goals of the education reforms are making the education more global in the terms of knowledge, nurturing children who believe in the one God, providing a socially just education system, increasing the role of the family in the education system, increasing the efficiency of the education system, achieving the highest standard of the education in the region. Teacher education. Farhan University is the University of the Teacher Education and Human Resources Development in the Ministry of the Education. Teacher Training Center in the Iran are responsible for the training teachers for primary orientation cycle and the gifted children schools. These centers offer 4-year program leading to a BA or BSc degree in the teaching the relevant subjects. And students that enter teaching training center have a minimum completed a high in school diploma. A national entrance examination is required for the admission. There are 98 teachers training centers in Iran, all belonging to the Farhan University. Teacher education in Iran has been considered more centralized than the other Western countries, such as the Great Britain. Foreign languages. Persian is officially the national language of Iran. Arabic, as the language of the Quran, is taught grades 7-12. In addition, in Arabic, students are required to take an foreign languages classes in grades 7-12, although other foreign languages such as German, French, Spanish, and Chinese are offered in most urban schools. English continues to be the most desired English languages. Kanun-e-Zaban Iran or Iran Language Institution, affiliated to the Center of the Intellectual Development of Children and Young Adults, was founded in 1979. Persian, English, French, Spanish, German, Persian, Arabic are taught to our 175,000 students during each term. English language is studied in first and second high school. However, the quality of English education in school is not satisfactory, and most of the students, in order to obtain a better education, fluency and proficiency, have to take English courses in private institutions. Before 2018, some primary schools also taught English. However, in January 2018, a senior education official announced that the teaching English is banned in primary schools, including non-government primary schools. Presently, there are over 500 foreign 5,400 foreign languages schools in the country, and 200 of which are situated in Tehran. A few television channels air weekly English and Arabic language sessions, in particularly for our university candidates who are preparing for the annual entrance test.